Oh, are we live? Yeah, dog. Thomas G here once again with another live stream. This is actually episode number 5, live stream number 5 on a Sunday morning. Good morning. Everybody get a good swig of their cup of joe. Oh, my gosh. When you get this age, man, coffee is like the go-to every morning. Welcome to the channel, guys. If you haven't subscribed, subscribe to the channel, get the post notifications. Pound the like button. We're going to talk about the Titanx Flywheel, how it's on fire. All right. So that means you got to work for your bags. You got to get the link out there on X. You got to get it out there on all the social media platforms and share that we're live. And we're going to be talking about the Titanx Flywheel. It's a very exciting day for Titanx versus if you look at the overall market. I mean, the overall market right now, I'm just going on my phone really quick as I always do. Bitcoin's down, Ethereum's down, BNB's down, Solana's down. Everything is down. The market is bleeding out like millions and millions of dollars by the second, man. I mean, you see so much market cap get wiped off on days like this. It's like, what's going on here, you know? And good morning, bad boy. Thank you. Don't forget to, like I said, put all the links out there. I already went on Twitter. I always say Twitter. It's X. Twitter is the X. X is the current. All right. So get everything out there so we can go into the Titanx Flywheel because we're going to talk about a few projects. So I did ask the community, hey, drop all your comments and suggestions when it comes to the bot, the build on Titanx projects to talk about. So I got bombarded with tons of projects and I go, you know what? I'm looking at them, I'm researching them, and I'm going, I don't know enough about all of them, but I'll talk about the core ones that I believe when you get new investors looking at Titanx, where the starting point is and where the projects are that were designed not only by Jake, there's a couple we'll talk about by Jake, but then you have a really close companion of his when it comes to DragonX, and you got Eric's project. Then you look at the very first project that came out by the dude, Helios. So we're going to talk about Titanx, we're going to talk about DragonX, we're going to talk about Hyper, we're going to talk about Helios, the projects that have been here the longest. And any founders of any projects out there that I don't talk about today, feel free to reach out to me. We can live stream and hash out all the things. Not really, well, we can discuss on live stream or on X space and go into your project so I have further knowledge. Because I want to talk about the things I understand mostly, where I think is the starting point for a new user. So the big question is going to be, is it still early for Titanx? Is it still early for you to be an investor to get into Titanx? All right. And the simple answer is right there on the chart. All right. You see the chart and you look as somebody new that doesn't know anything about Titanx and you go, damn, it went in July all the way to where it's at now. In July, we're looking at numbers here, early July, like right after July 4th, 6 zeros, 1682. Fast forward to today, 6 zeros, 5938, right? So it's gone up. And you got to think about this. People do buy the green candles and the hype. People are getting in. But how early are you still? Well, you got to go back. You got to go back. This project is almost 1 years old. 1 year, basically going to be 1 year old. And gosh, in like 2 months, practically 2 months at the end of October. Time goes by so fast, right? Time just goes by so fast. So if you want to look at those numbers from, you know, a year ago and take a look here, and this was the launch, right? When the launch happens, just like in any project, like the price spikes up and then it corrects within like a day or within moments. And you want to take a look at the numbers here, right? Early on, investors that were buying liquid Titanx to stake or to hold long term, whatever it may be, were buying at prices at I've bought a lot of Titanx at 4 zeros and 5, you know, at 4 zeros and a 1, 5 zeros, all the way down, right? So these were the beginning prices, like when it first launched, where a lot of us bought to stake A lot of us bought for the long term, and a lot of us made miners. So the miners that you were able to make, we go to the mining page right now. To start a miner right now, it shows it's in the negative, right? Like 50 minus 52% costs you 0.25 B. I was going to say BNB. It costs you 0.25 Ethereum. That's a $629 value. That's going to be at a negative 52%, right? That's a miner length of 280 days, max power 100. When we first started miners, these percentages were like in the thousands, like for the 280 day length, it was high percentages. And the short-term miners were really high percentages as well. You were like within a 30-day time frame from launch, you'd make, 6, 7, some people even 8x, depending on the day you started. And we were minting our own tokens. So that's the fair launch of how everything started. The users interacted with the smart code here with Titanx. We minted our own tokens, and I didn't even know, because I made short-term miners to come out every day for like from 30 days all the way up until now. So I didn't even know that the 30-day miners were going to do that well. And what happened was the short-term miners gave us a lot of X's. So the price continued to drastically go down because the ROI was crazy, insane, right? So anybody that was lucky enough to do that was taking advantage of that opportunity, right? So the price continued to go down. And now, looking at it almost a year later, you have the opportunity to get in much cheaper while inflation is not crazy like it's been for the past year. We've gone through the hyper inflationary period from the beginning all the way. We've transitioned through all these months where all these tokens were coming out. And now you're in a position to buy at 6 zeros and a 5.9. I would have been just absolutely ecstatic to have been able to buy these prices at the beginning when I got involved with the long-term staking. Even more so if I'm thinking along the lines of dropping, a huge bag to participate in DragonX when that came out, and how the ratios on that have changed. Let me take a look at the chat here. So we got anybody in chat. Green stays on. Titanx Crypto Monster, thank you for joining the stream. Go tell all the friends out there, everybody. It's early. I know it's early. And listen, I could have told people ahead of time I was going to live stream about Titanx. I could have got a big crowd in here. I wanted to be just on the spot, do a live stream. I'm doing about 9:30 a.m. PST every day, and just go off the top of my head, whatever comes to mind, and do the online analysis and research and show people the way, just like this, just like I'm doing. All right. So, anyways, if you look at the price compared to when it launched and all the way down to all these months, right? It's corrected and it's gone up. As far as price, you're still early, because now people that bought in at the beginning are waiting for prices to come back to break even, that bought at 5 zeros plus, that bought at 4 zeros plus. And even at those price points, the expectations based off the flywheel that's going on is like, hey, this can do many X's from the point that people got in at the very beginning, when it was 5 zeros plus, when it was 4 zeros plus. So this is early, in my honest opinion. I'm not a financial advisor, for damn sure not a professional. You got to do your own research. Don't ever allow an influencer or any social media platform out there to influence you when it comes to cryptocurrency, because you could get wrecked. But that's where I see it. Now, jumping to DragonX, right? We'll take a look at DragonX here. DragonX was designed to be the benevolent whale of the ecosystem and absorb the staking power by percentages. So at the very beginning, we're buying tokens, and my strategy was simple: buy Titanx, short-term miners, all the way to the long-time miners, and my short-term miners, I was going to sell for profit, and I was going to throw them into staking just like I did on multiple wallets. So I had a strategy of all those tokens going in there, and DragonX came and they said, you know what? Jake decided I'm going to use the Genesis wallet, and I'm going to participate with those tokens because the objective was to get the largest percentage of the staking, because that determined how big of a payout they would get. And by taking the lion's share of that, users were diluted, but they absorbed to get that payout of ETH to become a benevolent whale later down the road, which is kind of right around the corner. We take a look at the payouts, because DragonX should be getting a pretty fat payout day 369. Does it show you the date on what day 369 actually stands on? So that would be, what, 59 days from now? 2 months? Is that right? It looks like 60 days from now would be November. Is that no? That wouldn't be it's stretched out longer than that. I don't know. I gotta take a look here. 59 days from now. So maybe I don't know the exact date. You can go to titanx.watch and click the DragonX link here, and you'll see the amount of ETH that they're going to get on the 369-day payout. So it's $2.1 million. That's 885.59 Ethereum. That is going to be used to buy and burn the DragonX token. So if you want to look at the DragonX token price right now, this token actually happens to be at new all-time highs from its very starting point. So DragonX is outperforming Titanx. Titanx is having a good run right now, but it's still not at its all-time highs. DragonX, which is the leverage play on Titanx, outperforming, and it has a new all-time high from when it very first started. Other than if nobody counts these wicks right here at the very beginning. But even if you want to count that, the way it's performing, you figure, hey man, it'll eventually outpace those numbers. Look at the very beginning. If you minus the wick right there, you see a top here of 5 zeros and a 1834. We're at 5 zeros. DragonX is at 506188. So they're at new all-time highs, and they're definitely the first project that started the flywheel effect. It was like, hey, we're going to absorb the Ethereum that's going to be in this payout for the greater good of later down the road to be the benevolent whale that takes this, propels it to the next level, especially if we go into a parabolic bull run where this Ethereum, this could be worth 4.2 million. It could be worth 6 million depending on the price of Ethereum. Don't want to ditch you in chat. Let's see who's here in the chat. Ryan Torres, what's up, bro? What's up? Yeah, what's up, 313? Welcome to the stream. Go out there, get the Titanx people in here. Definitely a much smaller crowd. It is Sunday. I did post about it, though, 15 minutes ago. What was it, 15 minutes ago? Well, I'm going on 30 minutes now, because we just started about 10 minutes back. So let the community know we're in here. So these are the two starting points, right? If you're looking at getting in, you can buy the Liquid Titanx. Right now, mining is not profitable based off these numbers. But if Titanx goes up, which we all believe it's going to continue to go up, then these numbers will flip from negative to a positive. Like straight up, like Biggie said, turn a negative into a positive. And I've watched on this wallet here, the negatives go positive, right? And we can take a look how far out that they will start to go from, I guess you could say these were all negative about a month back. Now they're positive. Start date right before Christmas, December 22, 2023. Last year, almost a year ago. 33 power, it costs $143. This one would be valued at $292. That's 103.5% ROI. So I have these coming out on this wallet. I have different wallets with different strategies. Some wallets got like 2 or 3 miners per day. And then I do have like a weekly where like on a Friday, a 5 batch will come undone for like a good weekly payout. And yeah, I think as I go page by page, we'll see when the ROI, when it goes out of ROI, how far out. And this is all based on price. So these are all positive still. Every miner that I've ever made is in the positive of ROI. That changed from a few days back based off the price. So none of my miners are in the minus. They're all ROI all the way on this wallet until December the 2nd. So that's pretty cool, you know. And if the price by December 2nd 5x's, you know, this 303 value for this miner with 50 power, 280 day length would be worth $1,500, right? So that's the whole goal. So we've talked about, you know, is it too late? Based off price, it's not too late. You're early compared to when people bought, or as far as the very beginning. And then we minted a ton of tokens. We've surpassed like the worst times of hyperinflation. Now it's in the verge of becoming a hyper deflationary token, right? With the help of DragonX and all those mechanics. But then you got hyper. And this is why I was like, okay, I can talk about all these other Titanx projects. You know, they're great. I got to learn them. I'm inviting any of you project founders to come talk to me. The dude just did from Helios just did an X space with me. And we had like a 1 hour conversations about, you know, everything that's happened and everything that's going to happen and what we see. And I will be talking about Helios as far as the flywheel today. Let's see if we got anybody new in the chat. Parzival, it was expected to dump at day 280. However, price is soaring with increasing supply every day. Yeah, it was really surprising to most people. For me, I was like, okay, I set funds aside on one of my wallets that I have the most miners coming out every day. It's about 3 miners per day. And I go, I'm going to keep liquid funds so that after day 280, I could scoop up like a major dip that we anticipated. It never happened. Now I'm just dollar cost averaging on the way up versus on the way down, which I thought based off of like simple math that was going to happen, but nope. Now, the other part of the flywheel that was added was hyper, right? And this is interesting right now. And this is why I wanted to stick to the core projects as far as what Jake developed, hyper, versus going into a lot of the other projects that are new, right? I think those are like, once you go through these flywheels, you can end up there too at some point. And like I said, I will discuss those as I learn more about these. But miners with hyper right now are, and currently, in ROI. So if you want to experience what I experienced early on with Titanx, but via hyper, as far as ROI, it's not that crazy, but as the price goes up, it'll get better. Right now, any miner you make, max miner length of day 88 is 225%, 0.93 ROI. So 0.2 ETH creates a miner that you can collect after 88 days, mining power of 100. Even if you cut that in half to 44 days, you do the simple math, you're still in profit, 71, right? Short-term miners are still in profit, minus if you do 22 days, it's 11.98. Let's type in a 30-day, 18.95% in profit, right? So the estimated amount of hyper that you would get at the end of this, miner length will be listed here, how much ETH and what the value would be. My suggestion to myself, and I do give myself financial advice, don't follow me, don't follow influencers, where I believe my opportunity to make the most money right now in Titanx, outside of participating in DragonX, outside of collecting my miners on one wallet, I collect the miners and I sell them for profit. The other ones I'm keeping liquid and doing the DragonX swap for DragonX. Now I'm going to continue to have a strategy to make these miners, because as hyper goes up in price, these ROI percentages will go up, and then I can take this hyper and swap it out for more Titanx later. And it's a beautiful thing. This flywheel is like, it's all coming together. It's on fire, okay? It's on fire. It's on fire. Again, I don't want to leave anybody in the chat in case anyone has any questions. I see dragons. Santos, just check Dragon X. Trayvon got wrecked. He sold at the bottom around 280 to scoop up the dump. Now he's saying that the reverse Uno effect will happen at day 369, where everyone expects a pump, but it may dump. Mastermind manipulation theories don't know. You've got a lot of things that are going to counter, versus what he's saying. You have the continuous buy and burn, and that's what I want to take a look to before we move on. Let's just take a look at the price of Hyper. So I just said the miners were with Hyper. I believe I'm going to experience the early days of Titanx. I'm not going to do short term. They're all going to be day 88. Day 88, right? Like you're going to be gifting yourself 88 days from now Hyper tokens that can easily be worth, I believe, like 15 to 20x, because you got low liquidity, low market cap, and mechanics that are going to help bring this up. And this right here, I'll unplug it. Well, let me grab the address because this is one I'm going to use. We're going to look at we'll plug that address back in because it happens to be one of the buy and burn mechanics. So if you go here to the buy and burn outside of mining, what is this doing for Titanx? And then we'll roll back and show what Titanx does for itself, right? So buy Titanx with ETH. Right now there's 215 Ethereum in this buy Titanx smart contract. It's worth $528,000. And what this does, it currently has a cap where it swaps 1 ETH and it's callable every 180 minutes. So it's taking 1 ETH and it's buying, it says total bought Titanx. It's buying Titanx, and it shows that it's burning it as well. So the way you take a look to see, like, is this really going on, is at the bottom of the page, Hyper Buy and Burn. You're going to see the address. It's going to link you once you click that address to the Etherscan, right? And you're just going to you'll see 7 minutes ago it was triggered. You can take the from address here, right here, and then you go to your deck screener and you plug it in under the maker. And then you can take a look at all the buys that it'll display here. 2 hours and 9 minutes ago, 5 hours and 9 minutes ago. Its USD value is $2,600 a pop. It's buying these tokens, right? So this is part of like an idea that was taken from Titanx, which has a V1 and V2 we'll take a look at. So when you're looking at this on Etherscan, you can even go to this transaction and you'll notice that, you'll see that same address here, but that's there's buy Titanx and there's buy and burn, right? So this first one was buy Titanx. This one says buy and burn. We'll take another look at a transaction for buy and burn. They are, well, that's the same wallet address, but they're doing different functions. Buy Titanx, buy and burn, right? You see it all happening here. So it buys Titanx, buy and burn, buy Titanx, buy and burn. It's all listed here for you guys to see on the smart contracts on Etherscan.io. And then they had a Hyper buy and burn, right? Which you're seeing as part of that going on here, right? So the Hyper buy and burn it has a swap, right, of every 180 minutes. This is going to take that's a pretty large number right there. 5.3 billion. I was going to say it's trillions. It's 5.3 billion Titanx. Every 180 minutes is callable. And then it shows you the total Hyper bought and burn so far. And then the total Titanx that was used to do this. And then you had the vortex as well. This is a whole different, this was like the innovative part that they're like, it's going to kick in, and it's going to do its thing. You'll see the ETH vortex right now has 298 ETH. And this is just on Hyper. All this Ethereum you see that's helping buy and burn these tokens. This right here is gonna, that's why I believe Hyper is the best thing to mine right now and the best thing to purchase. That's just my opinion. And obviously Titanx and DragonX, but I see based off the the numbers and where we're at here. I feel personally. You tell me what you think. So the Vortex stores 8% of ETH from miners. So when the miner craze starts happening, that Vortex is going to be fed. Because we're in ROI right now with miners, it makes sense that people are going to create miners, which is going to feed the Vortex, right? Since there's ROI, like, duh, why wouldn't you do that and get more tokens and, like, really store them out to get paid later, and you get paid later instead of having them liquid. You're like, should I sell? It's up. You get them in 88 days and they could be worth, 10, 20x. If we're in a parabol, I think we'll be in a bull market after the elections. That's what I really think. So the Vortex stores 8% of ETH from the miners, plus 10% of Titanx bought off the market. The smart contract sends ETH to be used to buy and burn Titanx, then burn Hyper with it. The Titanx gets sent to Hyper, buy and burn to use to buy Hyper and burn it. This happens in full decentralized way through smart contracts every 98 days. All right. So let's circle back, right? Circle back, reverse to the flywheel to the beginning, right? Where we started off here. Because we did jump to Dragon X and then back to Hyper. So you have all these mechanics that are helping Titanx with Hyper and Dragon X. And then Hyper's got 3 different mechanics there that's helping its token, Titanx, and feed the flywheel. Don't forget V2 fast release and V1 slow release of Titanx. And let's go down to the chat, see if anyone's got anything here. 26 people. Man, you guys got to work for your bags. Get out there. Let them know we're live. We did the MSS yesterday because the community took a vote. They came in with fire, man. They came with a lot of people. It is Sunday. It is Sunday. So people will catch this later. People will definitely catch this later. Let me double check and make sure I post this on Twitter myself. Or X. I keep saying Twitter. It's X. All right. It's X. It's X. All right. So I'm going to post this out there so that we can share it. And it's always important. You got to put the tags. You got to put the hashtags Titanx. You got to tag these people. You got to, do the work. So this is the little things that you guys do out there to get, communities involved and seeing and getting exposure, to your platforms. I don't know which one is the right Titanx account. I'll tag them both. It looks like there's like 2 Titanx accounts on X. Is that the thing? Should I tag Jake? It's been a while. Let me go ahead and post that there so I can jump back into that. How does V2 work? I mean, V1. So we're going to take a look at that right now. Again, this video is like, some of you guys are very well seasoned on Titanx. I'm rolling through this because new investors are coming in, seeing these green candles, right? They're excited, but they may not know what's under the hood here. So V1, all this Ethereum that you see in V2 and V1, all this ETH was produced and the percentages were all split up. You can go into the white paper and put into these smart contracts because the amount of money that came in, which was like $6 million, like at the very beginning, people making miners, right? The ETH went back into these V1 and V2 to buy and burn Titanx. And then it went back to the people. It went back to the people in paying people that were staking. Now, in the form of payouts, right? This is where Dragon X is going to get all of that Ethereum, right? This all came from being split up between going to V1 and V2 and going to people who staked. So this is all from the amount of money that was created at the very beginning when the hype was there to create miners, right? And it's sitting here in these contracts. V1 is a slow release. V1 is like the back pocket smart contract where like we haven't used it in several months. It hasn't been touched. It's got 4,458.21 Ethereum. That's $10.9 million value. It's almost $11 million in ETH sitting there untouched for a long time. It's like it's going to be used whenever it's used at the right time. That's completely up to, the founder of when and why it's going to be used. So that's in the back pocket, like $11 million to buy and burn Titanx off the market. Buy it off the market and burn it forever. So right now, with V2 buy and burn, all that ETH that was produced has been buying and burning for several months since the beginning of time. And miners went live at the end of October. So this buy and burn function has been happening since last year, the end of last year of 2023. And its function right now, when called, we'll take a look what it has. 943 Ethereum worth $2.3 million. Dallas, right? And the next buy and burn, when triggered, it's going to buy 3.33 Ethereum that's worth $8,182. And it's going to buy the Titanx off the market, and it's see you later, it's burnt. So that call function for the 3.33 ETH can be callable every 280 minutes. And for those that are not, too savvy, like, how do I see this is happening? How do I know? Well, down here at the bottom, you can see V1 and V2. Again, if you click V1, you're not going to see any action as far as buying and burning for a long time. But you click the V2, and you're going to see, well, let me click a transaction that happened 48 minutes ago. 48 minutes ago, you're going to see the from address here, right? Interacted with the buy and burn. You can just go and plug that in on Dex Screener, paste it, and you can see the buy and burns, right? 10 hours ago, 14 hours ago, 19 hours ago, all these purchases that are taking Titanx off the market. And that's the beautiful thing. We're going to continue to buy and burn every 280 minutes with the V2. That's fighting against sellers. It's been doing it for months, just continuously buying. And this is something that could be adjusted. The founder, Jake, could adjust those numbers. Maybe he'll set it to 5 ETH every 5 hours, every 10 hours. Whatever he sees based off his math, it's going to prolong the lifespan of V2. But there could be a time where we're like, hey, this is depleting, right? Like, this is getting low. When this gets to like 500, people are like, it's getting low. Well, I project that the price of Titanx is going to continue to go up, and the price of Titanx goes up. We may go into another mining cycle. That mining cycle may line up with last year when mining started at the end of October. At the end of October of 2024, the price of Titanx could have gone up drastically more from where we're at here, right? And the ROI could be back to positive, which means people are making miners again. It's going to get paid out to the stakers, and it's going to go into the buy and burn contract. That's where I see like it will be a continuation and a repeat, like a cycle that happened within a 1 year time frame. I'm just throwing that out there, what I think could possibly happen. But even if it doesn't, we have the V1 backup, Dragon X. But I do think there will be another mining frenzy cycle. Once the price goes back to where it makes sense, people are going to go, I gotta make miners, and then all the miners are going to feed additional bonuses you get, and it's a very complex system. You got to do the white paper. But let's go from where we're at now here. Let me jump into the chat, see if anybody new here. I mean, V1. V1 is in the back pocket. I've answered that. Poor Trayvon. I'm sure he's still good, though. I got it now. Good. I'm glad you get it. Pulse Jitsu with Fast Abdul. Tell me your secrets. Oh, I know you. You're from what is it? 2fucks on Pulse Chain. Which right now, no one really gives 2fucks about Pulse Chain. I love Pulse Chain, but that's Abdul. Let's see. V2 BNB got changed again from 2.80 to 3.33. However, the interval remained the same, 280 minutes. Yeah, that could be adjusted by Jake at any given moment, however he sees fit. It's not an immutable smart contract, which I'm a big fan of that. I always thought, like, for me to have the overconfidence in Jake, like I was confident that we'd get here. That's why I have miners on several wallets that stretch out all the way until the end of this year, was a design. But I'm like, is there going to be a V3 where, here's what I'd like to happen. If we do go into a mining frenzy again, like this cycle repeats, I would like a V3 that is an immutable smart contract. because that is going to be absolutely where you get like the trustless, no humans involved interaction smart contract, like the top tier and of its kind, where I think like, hey, that's necessary because you don't have to depend on the human. Um, at this point, it really doesn't matter. You know, it's kind of like one of those things where you're like, are you insured by survival? I can't take that ride. Like, it's not a deal breaker type deal. It's been good for as long as it's been good. The next platform that I want to talk about, ultimately the last one I'll talk about in the flywheel here is Helios. Now, the Helios miners right now, if you do the max length, 250 days, max power is going to be like really, really expensive. So you can do like a max power of like 100, right? And burn amplifier, that's, you know, max would be 10. You actually use Titanx to create their miners, and right now the ROI is up 114%. And they have their HLX token. So they've been around the longest. I did the interview with the dude recently, right, on Twitter, on X. Gosh, on X. And I was like, hey, have you heard anything from Jake of possibly getting like a Genesis wallet friendly contribution? Because what propelled Dragon X was Jake going, hey, or whoever owns the Genesis wallet. Remember, we're not supposed to know. We can only speculate. But the Genesis wallet pretty much donated a huge number of Titanx directly to the Dragon X smart contract. So it didn't do the functions that the users were doing where it swapped it, you know, at the ratio. It sent it to it, right? That propelled the numbers to skyrocket, where it was able to absorb such a huge payout that's coming up on day 369. Very generous. It was for the greater good, for that when we get to 369, that Ethereum can buy and burn, you know, the Dragon X, and it's millions of dollars worth, and keep the flywheel going and do very good things, be a benevolent whale. So I was like, hey, dude, like, I haven't seen the Genesis wallet do anything else for any other projects. I think like you guys have been around the longest and you guys have done very well. I just said, hey man, like the community needs to be the ones to go out there and be like, hey, or if you want to refer to it as Jake or the Genesis wallet, like show some love to Helios. Because if the Genesis wallet for whatever reason decided to help Helios and boost like their treasury or their platform, it ultimately becomes a very, very different situation as far as how strong this flywheel can go. Dragon X participation at the very beginning it had a quick moment and then it slowed down drastically. Then the Genesis wallet went boom, and everyone FOMO'd and participated because participation was like, it wasn't matching the hype, and it was like, man, people aren't understanding. Like this could be like actually pretty bullish, you know. Even though I was in a huge disagreement, but the Genesis wallet created that FOMO and participation went up. So I think like the Genesis donation to Helios would be great because it could include participation here, which ultimately adds fuel to the fire. These flywheels are on fire right now, and I think I'm waiting for that, you know, second project that they choose to help propel. Dragon X's percentage of the staking payout would not be anywhere near close to where it's at today if it wasn't for that generous donation. So thank the crypto gods for that. You know, whoever owns the Genesis wallet, because that should be a huge benefit on day 369, even all the way to day 888, right? So Helios, taking a look at the price of Helios. Is it still early as far as price like Titanx? Look at these prices here, 4 zeros and a 125. We're at 5 zeros. The participation here is within the miners, right? Staking, the rewards pool, that's all different. They got their own treasury. They got burn pools. They got stuff going on Pulse Chain. It's like a similar display of what you got with Titanx. You can go take a look at the calculators and all that, which, by the way, all the calculators like are here for hyper. So if you were like looking to do a hyper miner, you can go, hey, one miner, 88 days, 100 max power, ROI 218%. Well, let's do 10. There you go. Cost would be $4,912. ROI price, if it's here at that time you collect it, would be 15 grand. I think it'd be way more, honestly. See if anybody has any questions. 28 people. Where are all my Titanx people at? I'm not sure. Like I said, it's Sunday. Hold off for now. Weekly spaces are live now. He said, hold off for now. Weekly spaces are live now. Oh, okay. There could be a weekly space going on right now that people are all over there, I think. Build on Titanx. Oh, I see it. Their weekly space is going on right now. I decided to do a live stream at the same time as a weekly space. They got 77 listeners over there. We got 28 over here. It is what it is. They can watch it later, man. They can definitely watch it later. The community's got 30 people here and 77 over there. Like 100 people active right now looking at Titanx content. You know, that on a Sunday morning at 10 o'clock, it's not bad. It's not bad. Could be worse, could be better. Right? So I'm here to take any questions. Anybody's got anything you want me to look at? I think we pretty much covered, you know, the basis of what I wanted to talk about. Other than my suggestion to myself, my financial advice to myself is do as many of these, especially when the price is a little bit down. Not a little bit down. Did hyper drop in price just right now? Nah, not much. Not much. Take a look at the liquidity of this. 625,000 liquidity, 3.8. I see huge opportunity right here for mining and buying. That's just me. You can actually do ladders too. That's interesting. You can create ladders with this. This will create a total of 11 miners with 100 power distributed like this. One miner that ends 8 days, starting in 1 day from today until 88 days. I like that tool. Definitely going to get some Ethereum rolling into this. And I think you can see, I have to take a look on how to see how many people are making miners. I forget how to look at that. It's been a while. So I think maybe biting the bullet now too. If my prediction's right and we go into another mining cycle, then buying miners now could, yeah, you might as well just buy it. But I think the miner frenzy is definitely going to be here. It should be. It should, right? Shouldn't it? I mean, if you buy, technically, if you go and buy it off the market, you know, you're going to eat some slippage. Are going to need some slippage to get it through. Not a lot of liquidity. I gotta make a decision. Anybody got suggestions? What you guys are doing out there? Probably not. But let's see. Yeah, I posted this out there again. We are all in a weekly space. Can you wait an hour or so? See, I didn't see these messages. Well, the answer is no. Now I can't. I definitely can't. But again, I recommend anybody out there that's got a build on Titanx platform or protocol that's helping the overall flywheel, you know, progress. Then let's get together. Let's do an interview. You know, at the end of the day, if it makes sense, it makes dollars, right? And pretty much covered everything I wanted to talk about. I think we can take a look at the final things we'll take a look at on both Hyper, Titanx. I don't know if Helios has a stats page. Yeah, we'll take a look at the stats before we wrap things up and answer some questions. So the stats are always interesting. They pretty much list everything, even the BOT protocols, which is buy and Titanx. So right now, Titanx distribution, Hyper 4.72%. It's the yellow part here. Buy and Titanx protocols, the green penalties, the little orange right here tells you the amount too in penalties. LP burned. Let's see, staked 14%, and then liquid 32.39%. So a lot is liquid right now. A lot of this percentage is liquid. So that's where all these projects come in. I think right now the liquid Titanx, if you got liquid Titanx, you swap it for Dragon X, or you come use it to make your miners with Helios, right? Now, if we look at the stats for a hyper, this is going to have the hyper distribution. 31.23% bought and burned. See, these make me more bullish on not only the miners, but buying more liquid. Penalties, 12.04%. Let's see. The purple is your staked amount, 13.35, and liquid, 36.48. Wow, that's pretty close. 32.29% liquid, 36.48. So, can you stake? Is this where you stake hyper? Yeah, I think create hyper stake. Earn hyper by staking your hyper. So you can stake your hyper and there's payouts. Not very much in payouts though. Doesn't seem too very high. But again, the whole ecosystem is booming right now, so things are subject to change pretty quick. Take a look at the stats here for Helios. Bought and burned 32.62%. Staked 27.84%. Liquid 31.41%. So there's a little bit less liquid by like 1%. Liquid Helios versus Titanx, and a lot, more or less liquid than hyper. So we can't ignore Helios. You can't sleep on Helios. You can't sleep on Helios, man. I think if you're gonna put your stuff to work, you might want to be here. Hyper. There's a lot of options. And there's platforms I didn't talk about because I don't know much about them, right? So before we wrap today's video up, any questions in the comment sections? Look, no. When they said it would dump, I had a feeling the opposite would happen. This is always how it is. The opposite always happens. Ain't that the truth, man? Isn't that the truth? When it comes to like people's predictions, you got to look at it this way. This is kind of how I operate in crypto. You do a little like consensus. Like 100 people say that Bitcoin is going to hit $65,000 on Friday. 100 people. 5 people say it's going to go down to 50,000. I will bet my money on the 5 people. Based off the information that we're receiving, these predictions are social media influencers and news media outlets. So everyone trying to sell their bag, everyone trying to reverse psychology, everyone predicting the wrong thing, people not knowing. There's a lot of different things that are, come to play. So smash that like. Yeah, smash that like. Any other questions? I'll wait a minute here for some questions. Close a little bit of these tabs here. I can give some price predictions, I guess you can say, before we wrap it up. Let me remove this address. Okay, so for price predictions from here, right? If we go back to 4 zeros, think about us returning to 4 zeros. That's like the prices where I bought some at 5 zeros, I bought some at 4 to stake. So at the price right now, a 10x brings us to 5 zeros and a 5.5. That I think is going to happen very easily. Very easily once everything kicks in. Like everything's kicking in now, but it's going to continue to evolve to start quickly doing its thing. Buying, burning, all these different things that are burning Titanx. And when it goes hyper deflationary, like we're flat out there, it's like people are like, whoa, this is crazy. Like we haven't seen anything yet. A 20x would bring us to the 4 zeros and a 5, which puts us in profit for people that bought in at the beginning that were 4 zeros and a 1. That's a 20x. 20x is great in crypto. Could it kill a 0 to a 3, 3 zeros and a 1? I could see that. I would think it would start, stuff like that would start happening, and then Dragon X would be like crazy parabolic in the situation. these things probably around like day 369 plus, lined up with these payouts that are going to be coming out for not only Dragon X, for Dragon X basically. That's on day 369. We're on day 310, so that's 59 days away. 59 days away from potentially experiencing an easy 20x plus. I'm not a financial advisor. I'm just like projecting what I see as conservative and reasonable, right? Which would take everything with it. Like I said, Dragon X is a leverage on Titanx. It would outperform Titanx's 20x. So Dragon X would probably do, 40, 50, 60x. Really, really going to be exciting times. Jesse Johnson, is Troj dead? Troj did a community takeover. And I've been in tokens and done community takeovers and just take off. But then there's a lot that don't. So you have to go in their new Telegram and find out what they got planned. Community takeovers are a process. It's a process. If it's done right, then you can do well. But they're, meme tokens are meme tokens, man. How are you feeling about day 369? Day 369? Day 369 is going to propel the entire ecosystem as far as Dragon X and Titan X. It's going to be a beautiful thing. Let's see. Can you delay it? Is everyone don't listen to Trayvon? Yeah, I don't have a problem with Trayvon. Here's what I'll tell you about Trayvon. I started doing this 2015. I saw him doing it 2015. Like, I was inspired by him. He was buying Bitcoin and then Ethereum. We were buying the same prices. He was buying Bitcoin $200 like me. He was buying Ethereum $7 and everything early. And his visions and what he sees comes from all the experience. And a lot of people want to go, oh, BitConnect, like eliminate BitConnect. A lot of people get caught up with these pipe dream ROI dApps, like they're addicting like degen stuff. So go outside of that and really look for like what he knows is his knowledge. He's seen it all. I've seen it all. So if he says like, day 369 could be a day like that, you can argue and say he's wrong, or you can agree with him. But I can tell you right now, a lot of things he says have played out because these mechanics and these things that are going to happen are not things that I've never seen before, but I've never seen them before on this level. So it's like the unknown is about to occur, which makes it like a first time mover event. So I've seen like buys and burns. I've seen things of that nature, taking tokens out of circulation, all of that stuff. This is nothing new, but on this level, it makes it a lot different. So he may be thinking like, I've seen this before, but I've seen it before, but I just don't think I've seen it before at this magnitude on this level for sure. So you never know, man. People could just jump on that day, and people buy the dip. I don't know. Crypto's unpredictable. Absolutely. Maybe mine Hydra. All right, so it doesn't look like there's any other questions. I think there's a lot of people were saying that they're in another Twitter space. Like, you'll see a nice little correction sell-off right now. Look at this person sold. We'll just take a look at their wallet. They just sold right now. Is it the same wallet? 14,000 Dragon X. Swapped it for Titan X. And let's see what they did from there. All right. So we're just going to go to their wallet. And I'm only looking at this because it happened live. Right? It looks like they swapped. Ended up with wrapped ETH ultimately. So my question is, now they have 6.22 ETH. They got $2,400 in Titanx. No more Dragon X. Why sell Dragon X right now when it continued to get it off? Obviously, looks like it's going to continue to go up. I don't know, but how much that corrected the price by like 17% with 1.1 million liquidity. I want to say that person's, I don't know, dumb, but maybe they have other wallets, they have strategies. So I gotta respect people's decisions because I got wallets that sell Titanx. You know, when I collect the miners, I got the other ones that do the opposite end of the spectrum and a different strategy. But it looks like the buys come right back in too. So there's enough organic traffic from people discovering Dragon X and Titanx to cash out these people, because you got people that are in many X's on Dragon X right now, and many X's on Titanx bottom, right? So you're going to see massive corrections and just a transfer of wealth. And see ya, I'm happy. Somebody else will buy, and they'll have a strong hand until the next 2, 3, 4X, and maybe they'll sell and sell that position to somebody else. And then ultimately, you don't want to buy anyone's bag at a premium. You want to sell the top of a bull market. Hedra, please, let's see. Copy of Hyper on Dragon X, same function as Hyper did for Titan X, but it's Dragon X. Oh, so Hydra is coming out for Dragon X that's going to be Hyper. Yeah, they just keep adding mechanics that are going to continuously keep the flywheel going, burn tokens, make money. It's cool. I haven't seen it yet. Maybe I'll do a video on it. Listen, with Eric, we had a clash on X, and then he's said a lot of things about me. I've said things back about him. He's like, wallet watched me, all this stuff, and I'm like, dude, like, you got my wallet. I have you on display since 2016 on previous accounts. Talking about how it's wrecked. I'm like, yeah, it's wrecked. I got other wallets that are wrecked. I got wallets that are doing really well. I'm a DJ. There's nothing around that. So I don't have a problem with him. If he ever wants to come on stream and talk, I don't care. It's like, I don't interact with Jake or Eric and get into the emotional sides of things at this point, because all I care about is interacting with the code. You know, what is these people, and what does it matter between our feelings for each other? It doesn't. You know, we interact with code when it comes to blockchain. We don't interact with, you know, a bank teller or a cashier or the owner. We're not, you know, there's none of that's necessary. The code is doing what it's supposed to do. The flywheel is on fire, and it's an exciting time. You notice how everything corrects at the same time. Look at, boom, sell off here. Close that out. Let's see if HLX had a sell off. A little one. Close that out. Dragon X getting some buys in. You see it live here, man. Big sell-offs happen and people buy back in. Titan X got by far like the most volume though. Right here. $1.1 million in volume. Versus Dragon X volume, 586,000. So maybe Dragon X will rank here at the top at some point. Oh, it is 14. There you go. That's going to get the attention, because the attention right now, like on Dex Screener, is like meme tokens. Now when you start seeing Titan X and Dragon X ranking here on Dex Screener and Dex Tools, when they come across that, they're going to find my stream and be like, what's going on? What's going on? It's very complex. So hopefully people will be like, oh, I see. People mined early. It was a fair launch. They mined their tokens. They sold a lot of tokens. We skipped through all the drama and all the hyperinflation, and now we're here at a point where we can buy bags for super cheap. Way cheaper than most of these people that made a lot of money gone in at. And there's a huge flywheel. Find this video, find out. Find other content, find out. So, any other questions? No. All right, we're coming on 1 hour. Don't forget to smash the like button, share this all over X, post notifications, drop your comments, get the algorithm going. This is where you work for your bags. Get people to know. Going in the comment sections and commenting, you know, good or bad.